This is not a video you found by accident. Your future self has just sent an activation signal across time, and by clicking play, you answered the call. This is not a metaphor. This is not wishful thinking. This is a statement of metaphysical fact, grounded in the strange and beautiful reality of quantum physics. For decades, physicists have grappled with a concept called retrocausality, the unnerving principle that events in the future can influence the past. Your future is not a distant, unwritten shore you are sailing towards. It is an active, broadcasting lighthouse, sending signals back to you right now. Your future self just activated the hidden laws of metaphysical power. That is not a title designed to get your attention. It is a report of an event that has already occurred. Your decision to be here is the final piece of the sequence. In the next several minutes, you will not just learn about this phenomenon. You will undergo the full activation of these laws, a dormant code within your very DNA that your higher, fully realized self has finally unlocked for you. We will unpack the physics of what I call the destiny echo effect, a tangible, observable ripple in your present reality sent from your future. This is not faith, this is a framework, validated by the same principles that underpin quantum entanglement and the now famous delayed choice experiments, which prove that observation in the future can physically alter reality in the past. Think about the last few weeks, the last few months. Have you felt a strange sense of urgency? A low-frequency hum of anxiety or excitement that you can't quite place? A feeling that you are on the very edge of a monumental change, but you can't find the door. You feel like you are running out of time for something you haven't even started. This tension, this spiritual static, this cognitive dissonance between the greatness you feel within and the reality you see without, that is not a sign that you are failing. That is the signature of this activation. That feeling is the proof that your future self is at work, pulling your present forward, creating a necessary tension in your timeline that can only be resolved by the very upgrade you are about to experience. It is the sound of a new operating system downloading in the background of your life. If you felt a strange pull or an undeniable resonance to click on this title, acknowledge that signal from your future self by hitting the like button now. It's your first act of conscious agreement with this activation. It is you, telling the universe, telling your higher self, I hear you, I am ready. Proceed. This process is precise, it is elegant, and it works through a very simple metaphor, the activation signal. Imagine your future self, the version of you that has achieved its highest potential, solved the problems you now face, and embodies complete wisdom and power, is a radio broadcast tower. It is perpetually transmitting a signal. This signal is not made of radio waves, but of consciousness, of pure information. It contains the data packets for your next evolution, the cheat codes for your current challenges, the emotional frequency of your inevitable success. For most of your life, you have been the receiver. Your DNA, your consciousness, your very soul is designed to pick up this specific frequency, but you've been living in an area with poor reception. The noise of the world, the static of your own doubts and past programming, has distorted the signal into faint whispers, what you've called intuition, gut feelings, or strange synchronicities. You could hear something, but you couldn't make out the words. This video, this transmission you were guided to find, is the amplifier. It is the device that filters out the static, boosts the signal, and makes the message clear for the first time. The broadcaster is your future self. The receiver is you. This moment is the decoding. By the end of this transmission, you will move from being a confused recipient of strange signals to a conscious operator who understands and uses these newly activated laws. You will learn to not just hear the echoes of your destiny, but to navigate by them, collapsing time and stepping directly into the reality that has been waiting for you all along. The out-of-sync feeling is about to end. The clarity is about to begin. So that signal you received, the one that brought you here, it isn't just a metaphor. It isn't a spiritual platitude. It is the operational principle of a deeper reality, a reality governed by laws your logical mind was never trained to perceive. The sensation of being guided, of being pulled by an invisible string toward your destiny, is the direct experience of a fundamental law of quantum mechanics, specifically, quantum entanglement through time. In the familiar world, We see entanglement as two particles linked across space. If one spins left, its partner, even a galaxy away, instantly spins right. There is no signal sent between them. There is no travel time. They are, in a very real sense, two expressions of a single, unified system. The change in one is the change in the other. It is instantaneous. Now, apply that principle not to space, but to time. You and your future self are not two separate beings on a long road. You are entangled particles. You are 2 points in a timeline that are fundamentally, inseparably, one system. When your future self achieves a state of profound realization, of total power, of complete purpose, that event does not stay locked in the future. It doesn't send a message back in a bottle. The achievement itself instantaneously changes the state of the entangled particle in the past. It changes you, right now. This isn't a signal traveling through time. It's a state that is shared across it. Your future self, by the very act of existing in their realized state, is the observer that collapses the infinite wave of your potential into a single, concrete probability. Their success observes your path into being. This activation isn't something they decided to send you. It is an unavoidable consequence of who they have become. Their reality is exerting a constant, gravitational pull on your own, and the tangible, observable ripples of that pull in your present moment. That is what I call the destiny echo effect. The destiny echo effect is the physics of fate. It is the scientific proof that your future isn't some distant, hypothetical destination you must struggle to build. It is an active, broadcasting reality that is struggling to rebuild your present. It is the most powerful feedback loop in the universe. Your future success causes the present conditions that lead to it. The effect creates its own cause. So, how does connecting with your future self actually work? It works through entanglement. This is metaphysical laws explained simply. Your future isn't a destination to be reached. It's a broadcast to be received. The destiny echoes are the data packets from that broadcast. They are the software updates for your human operating system. Which leads to the critical question, if this broadcast has been happening your entire life, why are you only becoming aware of it now? Why have the signals felt so confusing, so chaotic, so much like random noise? The answer is simple. You have been trying to read a quantum message with a Newtonian brain. Your mind was conditioned for a linear, cause and effect world. First you do the work, then you get the result. First comes the cause, then comes the effect. A leads to B leads to C. You have been trained your entire life to look forward, to build, to push, to strive towards a goal. But the destiny echoes are not a linear phenomenon. They are evidence of retrocausality. An effect, B, creating its own cause, A. The sudden, illogical urge to quit a stable job. The overwhelming feeling of grief for a relationship that hasn't ended yet. The strange synchronicity of hearing the same obscure phrase 3 times in one day. Your logical mind sees these things and immediately dismisses them. It flags them as irrational, as coincidence, as emotional noise, because in a linear world, they make no sense. There is no preceding cause you can point to. Your logical mind is trying to read a book by starting on page 1, but in the world of quantum reality, the last page wrote the first. You have been misinterpreting the most important data of your life as meaningless static. You've been treating the glitches in the matrix as bugs, when in fact, they were features. They were the signs of the new operating system installing itself over the old one. The tension you feel is the friction between your old, linear programming and the new, non-linear reality that is coming online. This is the paradigm shift that changes everything. The work is not to push reality forward with brute force and sheer will. The work is to learn how to read the echoes coming back from the future. The new paradigm is not about trying to guess which doors to kick down. It's about learning to feel which doors are already unlocked, which ones are being held open for you from the other side. You stop being a builder with a flawed blueprint and become a navigator, following a signal that is clear, precise, and infallible. You move toward what feels inexplicably resonant and alive, and you let go of what suddenly feels empty and dead without needing a logical reason. Think back over the last few months. Where have you felt an illogical pull towards something new, or a sudden repulsion from something old that your logical mind couldn't explain? That wasn't a random whim. That was a transmission. That was a destiny echo, guiding you. You weren't confused because the signs weren't there. You were confused because you were trying to use an old map in a new world. Today you are given the key to the new map. You are learning the language of your own destiny. The confusion ends now. Illuminating clarity begins for your entire life. You have operated under one fundamental and completely flawed assumption. You believe you must struggle to build a better future. You think your job is to gather the raw materials of your present, the effort, the willpower, the sacrifice, and through sheer force, construct a future reality that is more abundant, more aligned, more you. You have been taught that you are the builder, pushing a heavy boulder up a steep hill toward a destination you can only hope exists. This belief is the source of all your spiritual exhaustion. It is the root of your frustration, the reason you feel on the verge of a breakthrough that never quite arrives, because you have the entire equation backward. Prepare for the greatest paradigm shift of your existence. This is the central revelation your future self has guided you here to receive. Your already existing, fully realized future is struggling to rebuild your present. Read that again. Let it dismantle everything you thought you knew about manifestation and destiny. You are not pushing reality forward. A perfected reality is pulling you towards it. Your future self, standing in a timeline of complete fulfillment, is not waiting for you to arrive. It is actively reaching back through the quantum foam, through the corridors of time, sending destiny echoes to deconstruct your current reality and reassemble it in alignment with its own. The signal is not just a message, it is a command protocol. It is rewriting your hardware from the inside out. You are not just a radio receiving a broadcast. The broadcast is upgrading the radio itself, turning it into something new. You are becoming the receiver and the received, merging into a single unified consciousness across time. This changes everything. It means your primary work is not effort, but reception. Your task is not striving, but alignment. Your purpose is not to build, but to allow the pre-built reality to anchor itself in your now. All the pressure you have placed on yourself to make it happen dissolves in this truth. The outcome, the glorious future you ache for, is already a fact in the quantum field. It is a foregone conclusion. Your only job now is to cooperate with its arrival. Your only job is to collapse the timeline. So, how do you do that? You abandon the old tools. You throw away the maps, the 5-year plans, the rigid goals that your logical mind created based on incomplete, past-tense data. Those tools were for building. You are no longer the builder. You are the navigator, and your navigational system is entirely new. We call this new method echo navigation. Instead of a map, you now follow resonance. Instead of a compass, you follow the feeling of aliveness. It is a profoundly simple, yet radically different way of moving through the world. The destiny echoes from your future self don't provide a logical path. They create a resonant one. They are the signs your future self is contacting you, but more than that, it's an upgrade to your entire guidance system. The practice is this. You move toward what feels inexplicably alive, and you move away from what feels suddenly, inexplicably dead. That project that once lit you up, but now feels like ashes in your mouth, that is not a sign of your failure. That is your future self sending an echo back in time, marking that path as obsolete. It is a dead timeline. To continue pursuing it is to fight against the current of your own destiny, that strange, illogical pull to visit a new city, learn a new skill, or reconnect with a long-lost friend. That is not a distraction. That is the resonance of the new, activated timeline. It is the echo of a future reality calling you onto the correct path. Your logical mind will not understand it. It will argue and resist, because it can't see the full picture. But your heart, your energy, your very cells, now being rewritten by this activation signal, will recognize the frequency. Echo navigation is the art of trusting the resonance over the reason. It is the ultimate surrender to a higher intelligence that is, in fact, your own. What if every perceived setback or delay in your life wasn't a punishment, but a deliberate timeline correction engineered by your future self to ensure you arrived at this exact moment of activation? What if every closed door, every painful ending was not a rejection from the universe, but a course correction? What if your future self knew that the old path, the one you desperately wanted, was a dead end, and it had to lovingly and sometimes painfully slam that door shut to reroute you here, to this transmission, to this awakening. This understanding initiates the final and most critical part of this revelation. Your identity itself must transform. You are not a seeker trying to find your path. The path is already laid. You are not a student trying to learn the answers. The answers are already within your resonant field. You are a living anchor point for a future timeline. Your very existence, your consciousness, is the mechanism through which a higher order reality is grounding itself into this dimension. You are not walking toward the future. You are the conduit through which the future flows into the present. Every choice you make based on echo navigation, every time you choose the feeling of aliveness over the logic of the past, you strengthen that anchor. You pull that magnificent future more concretely into your now. The struggle is over. The work of reception has begun. You are the event horizon where probability becomes reality. You are the merger. You are the point of activation. This activation isn't a distant event you have to wait for. Its effects are not in your future. They are already in your past. They are in your present. The quantum fingerprints of your future self are all over your current reality, but you've been trained to misinterpret the evidence. You've been taught to see the proof and call it a problem. Here are the 3 most common destiny echoes that have been appearing in your life, the very signals you have been misreading. The first is what I call the sudden void. This is a profound and unsettling experience. It's when a goal that once drove you, a passion that once defined your entire identity, suddenly feels hollow. It's the relationship you built your life around that now feels like a foreign country. It's the career path you strived for that now tastes like ash in your mouth. Your logical mind panics. It calls this depression, apathy, or a midlife crisis. It screams that you are losing your way, that something is terribly wrong with you. That is the old programming. The truth is, this void is not an emptiness. It is a clearing. It is a sacred act of demolition carried out by your future self. It is the energetic slate being wiped clean with meticulous care. You cannot install a new operating system on a hard drive cluttered with old, incompatible files. That sudden loss of interest, that feeling of "this is not me anymore," is not a sign that you are lost. It is the clearest sign that you are being found. Your future self is not adding to your life. It is subtracting. It is removing everything that does not have the resonant frequency of your true destiny timeline. The pain you feel is not the void itself, but your attachment to what was cleared away. The void is a vacuum, prepared and waiting for the new reality to rush in. When you feel it, do not despair. Recognize the fingerprint. Your higher self is telling you that the old energetic contracts have expired. This is proof that the old frequency no longer matches. The second destiny echo is the glitch in the matrix. This is when the logical, predictable world you know begins to fray at the edges. It's a sudden, overwhelming wave of déjà vu so intense it stops you in your tracks. It's the surge of synchronicities that go beyond mere coincidence into the realm of the statistically impossible. You think of a forgotten song, and it plays on the radio the moment you turn it on. You have a dream about a person you haven't seen in a decade, and they call you the next day. You begin seeing repeating number sequences, 111, 444, 222, everywhere you look, on clocks, on license plates, on receipts. Your rational mind dismisses this. It calls it confirmation bias. It says you're just noticing things more. But you know, deep in your core, that something else is happening. This is the signature of 2 timelines, your old, decaying timeline and your new, activated timeline, converging in the same space-time coordinate. Reality becomes unstable for a moment. The seam between the worlds becomes visible. These are not random occurrences. They are quantum markers. They are like buoys in the ocean, signaling that you are precisely on course. Each glitch, each number sequence, each impossible synchronicity is your future self leaving a breadcrumb, saying, "Yes, keep going. I am here. The merge is happening." These are not distractions from your reality. They are confirmations of the real reality breaking through the illusion. This is proof that the timeline merge is imminent. The third, and most powerful destiny echo, is the intuitive command. This is entirely different from a desire or a fear. It is a clean, clear, overwhelming, and utterly illogical urge to do something specific. It is not emotional. It is a directive. It's the sudden, inexplicable compulsion to drive down a street you never take, only to avoid an accident on your normal route. It's the non-negotiable feeling that you must call a specific friend right now, only to find they were in a moment of crisis and needed you. It's the powerful hit to buy a certain book you've never heard of, a book that contains the one idea that will change the entire trajectory of your life. Your logical mind fights this command tooth and nail. It says, "That makes no sense. Why would I do that? What's the point?" It demands a reason, a plan, a predictable outcome. But the intuitive command does not operate on logic. It operates on a higher, temporal physics. This is a direct, non-negotiable instruction from your future self. It is a strategic move on the cosmic chessboard. Your future self can see the entire board, across all of time. It knows you need to be in a certain place at a certain time to meet a certain person or receive a certain piece of information. The command is the most efficient way to get you there, bypassing the noise and doubt of your conscious mind. Acting on these commands is how you build the muscle of trust. It is how you tell your higher self, "I hear you. I am ready to cooperate." Each time you obey, the signal gets stronger. This is proof that you are being guided. The sudden void, the glitch in the matrix, the intuitive command. These are not problems to be solved. They are evidence to be gathered. They are the fingerprints of your completed destiny. So the work is to stop analyzing the evidence and start recognizing the pattern. You must shift the fundamental question you ask when these things happen. The old question of the unawakened mind is, "Why is this happening to me?" That question casts you as the victim of circumstances. The new question of the activated timeline architect is, "What is my future self showing me with this? What is this positioning me for?" This question makes you a conscious collaborator with destiny. In the comments below, share which of these 3 echoes you've experienced most intensely in the last 72 hours. The sudden void, the glitch in the matrix, or the intuitive command. Let's create a public record of this mass activation. Your testimony is validation for someone else who thought they were alone in this. Your experience is proof. You understand the theory. You have seen the evidence in the sudden voids and cosmic glitches of your own life. But understanding is not the final step. Embodiment is. Now, we complete the connection. Find a place where you can be undisturbed for the next few minutes. Sit upright, relax your shoulders, and if it feels safe to do so, close your eyes. This is not a meditation to escape. This is an activation to arrive. This is the moment of the quantum handshake across time. Take a slow, deep breath in, and as you exhale, release the identity of the person who is trying. Release the seeker. Release the one who is waiting. Just be here. Now, bring your awareness to the center of your being. In this quiet space, I want you to sense your life, your journey up to this exact moment. See it not as a series of events, but as a single thread of light. This is your current timeline. Observe its color, its texture, its vibration. There is no judgment here. Simply see it for what it is. A path that has led you perfectly, flawlessly to this very activation. Feel the history in that thread, the lessons learned, the strength gained. Acknowledge it. Honor it. This thread is you. Now, shift your awareness. Bring your attention upward, above you, into the vast, infinite potential from which all reality is born. And from that infinite space, you begin to sense another thread of light. It is impossibly bright. It descends towards you, not with force, but with the gentle, irresistible gravity of truth. This is the timeline of your future self, the version of you that has already solved every problem you currently face, the you that has mastered the lessons, the you that lives in a state of grace, power, and unwavering purpose. Feel the frequency of this timeline. It radiates pure certainty. It hums with a peace that surpasses all understanding. It feels like home. It is not separate from you. It is the highest, most coherent expression of you, reaching back through time to find you. Watch as this brilliant thread of golden white light descends closer and closer to your own timeline. There is no fear. There is only recognition, a deep, soul-level remembering. Now, feel the moment of contact, the 2 threads touch, and at the point of this quantum handshake, a supernova of light erupts within you. This is not a vision. It is a transmission, a data transfer of pure consciousness. Feel the information from that future timeline flooding into your present moment. Decades of wisdom, downloaded in an instant. The feeling of profound peace, saturating every cell. The unshakable knowing of your power, your worthiness, your purpose, anchoring itself into your very bones. This is not something you are imagining. You are receiving. Feel the threads begin to merge, to intertwine, weaving together like strands of divine DNA. The old timeline is being saturated, upgraded, rewritten by the coherence of the new one. The struggles of the past are not erased. They are integrated, given meaning, transformed into the foundations of your strength. The anxiety of the future is not quieted. It is dissolved in the absolute certainty of the outcome, and as these two threads weave into one, the distinction begins to blur. The light intensifies. The separation dissolves. There are not two selves. There is no you here and a future self there. There is only one. You are not becoming it. You are remembering that you have always been it. Feel this unified presence. This is your true frequency. This is your authentic self, fully activated, fully online. As you feel that connection, what single feeling word best describes this presence? Is it peace, certainty, power, love? Take the very first word that comes. No need to search for it. Let it arise from this new unified state. Anchor that word in your heart. Let it become a resonant frequency you can return to at any time. This feeling is now your North Star. The activation is complete. In your own time, without losing this feeling, begin to bring your awareness back to your physical body. Feel the chair beneath you. Hear the subtle sounds in the room. But you are not the same person who closed their eyes moments ago. You are returning with the frequency of your future. You are bringing the signal back with you, not as a memory, but as a living, breathing part of your presence. When you are ready, and only when you are ready, you may slowly open your eyes. Welcome back, Timeline Architect. The activation is complete. Breathe that in. It is not a process that is starting. It is a state that has been achieved. You are no longer a person hoping for a better future. You are a conduit for an inevitable future. You are a timeline architect. This new identity is not a metaphor. It is your new operational reality. But an architect is nothing without their tools, without an understanding of the laws of the materials they work with. You have experienced the connection. You have felt the merge. Now, you will receive the three fundamental laws of timeline architecture. These are not beliefs. These are the physics of co-creation. Master them and you master your reality. The first law is the law of echo resonance. Your emotional body is no longer just a processor for feelings. It is now a highly calibrated guidance system, a compass that points directly toward your highest timeline. The feeling you anchored just moments ago, that sense of peace, of certainty, of quiet power, that is not a fleeting state. That is true north. That is the resonance of your future self. From this moment forward, every choice, every action, every thought is measured against this resonance. Before you act, you will pause and ask, does this decision amplify the echo of my future self, or does it create static? Does it deepen that feeling of certainty, or does it diminish it? An action, a conversation, or a path that makes the feeling stronger, clearer, and more embodied is a step that reinforces the new timeline. It is your higher self sending a clear signal. Yes, this way. Even if it looks illogical, even if it defies your old planning, the resonance is the only data that matters. Conversely, any action that creates a feeling of contraction, anxiety, confusion, or a drain of energy is a signal that you are drifting back toward the frequency of the old, collapsing timeline. It doesn't matter how logical or safe it seems to your conditioned mind. If it disrupts the resonance, it is a detour. The law of echo resonance demands that you prioritize the feeling of the future over the logic of the past. Your feelings have been upgraded from reactive emotions to navigational data. Use them as such. The second law is the law of timeline collapse. This is perhaps the most critical law for your first few weeks as a timeline architect, because the old reality will not go quietly. It will send echoes of its own, echoes of fear, doubt, worry, and limitation, your old thought patterns, your old triggers, the voices of critics from your past. They will appear, testing the integrity of your new frequency. The old way was to fight these thoughts, to argue with them, to try and heal them, to analyze them. That way is now obsolete. Fighting a thought gives it energy. Analyzing a fear gives it reality. Engaging with the old timeline reinforces it. The law of timeline collapse works through a completely different principle. You starve the old reality of your attention. When a fear about money arises, you do not fight it. You do not affirm your way out of it. You simply look at it without judgment, and you label it old data. When a doubt about your worthiness appears, you do not engage in a debate with it. You acknowledge it and label it obsolete code. When a wave of anxiety about the future hits you, you do not resist it. You feel it for a moment, and you label it signal from a deleted timeline. By labeling it as data from a dead past, you strip it of its emotional power. You recontextualize it not as a truth about you, but as a ghost in the machine. And the moment you have labeled it, you immediately and deliberately redirect your focus to the feeling of your future self. You place your attention back on your true north. You do not push the old thought away. You simply turn your back on it and walk toward the new. You collapse the old timeline not by destroying it, but by making it irrelevant. You let it wither from the sheer force of your indifference. Your attention is the sunlight. Give it only to the reality you wish to grow. The third law is the law of active reception. Your future self will continue to send you signals, but they will become more precise. These are the intuitive commands we spoke of earlier. An illogical urge to call a person you haven't spoken to in years. A sudden, compelling need to drive to a specific part of town. An overwhelming feeling that you must buy a certain book right now. These are not suggestions. They are strategic directives. They are your future self, placing you on the chessboard of life for a move that will only make sense 3 steps later. The law is simple, but it is non-negotiable. If the intuitive hit is strong, illogical, and emotionally neutral, meaning it is not driven by a desperate desire or a deep-seated fear, but arrives with a strange sense of calm urgency, you must act on it, and you must act on it within 24 hours. This time frame is critical. It is short enough to prevent your logical mind from creating 1,000 reasons why it's a silly idea. Acting swiftly builds a powerful feedback loop of trust between you and your higher self. It is your way of saying, I am listening. The channel is open. I trust the transmission. The first few times you do this, it will feel strange. You might call that person, and the conversation might seem pointless. You might drive to that place and nothing happens. But you are not acting to get an immediate result. You are acting to prove your reliability as a receiver. When you prove you can be trusted with the small, illogical nudges, you will be sent the big, life-changing ones. Active reception is the bridge between inner knowing and outer reality. It is the practice of embodying the timeline. What is one small, immediate action you can take in the next hour that honors this new communication channel with your highest self? Precision is power. Finally, you must integrate this new identity into your daily life. This is your integration framework. It is a simple, 2-minute practice to begin your day. Upon waking, before your mind latches onto the day's to-do list, you will close your eyes. You will place a hand on your heart, and you will ask a simple question, addressed to that higher presence within you. Future self, what is our focus today? Or, future self, what is the core frequency we are to hold today? And then you will simply sit in silence for 2 minutes. You are not looking for words or visions. You are waiting for a feeling, the feeling of peace, the feeling of creative power, the feeling of joyful expansion. Whatever frequency it is, your only job is to feel it, to anchor it, to let it saturate your cells. This 2-minute calibration aligns your entire being with the new timeline before the old world has a chance to hook you. It sets your true north for the day. It is the daily act of a timeline architect reviewing the blueprint before the work begins. These 3 laws and this simple practice are your new operating system. The law of echo resonance is your compass. The law of timeline collapse is your shield. The law of active reception is your active partnership. You are not the person who clicked on this video an hour ago. That person was a receiver. You are now the architect. You are now activated. You have the laws. You can read the echoes. You are operating from your future self. in the now. This is a state of being few have ever achieved, but receiving the signal, as profound as it is only the first half of the conversation. It is the entry point into the cosmic dialogue. The next horizon of mastery is not just to listen to the future, it is to speak to it. The next level of power is learning how to send coherent signals forward through time, consciously informing your future self, reinforcing its timeline, and shaping destinies that extend far beyond your own. This is the critical pivot point. When you move from passive reception to active, conscious transmission, you stop just collapsing your own timeline and begin to ripple across all timelines. You begin to influence the collective. This is the precise moment where individual power is alchemized into divine purpose. That is why our next transmission is specifically designed to guide you through this gateway. It is called Timeline Co-Creation. Explained: how to send signals to your future self. In it, we will move beyond what you've learned today and explore the precise physics of conscious broadcasting. You will learn how your present actions, when encoded with specific intention, can create quantum inevitabilities, locking in outcomes that serve not just you, but the awakening of the whole. Subscribe and turn on all notifications. The activation is complete, but the communication is just beginning. In our next video, we decode the next layer, and you must be here to receive it. Look at where you are now compared to an hour ago. You came to this space feeling guided by a mysterious fate, a passenger in your own life. You leave here as the conscious hand of destiny. The activation is complete. The work has just begun.